I was really excited about this one. I just sat down with the champion maker, Lolo Heimuli. He has coached over 100 national champions and 10 world champions. This guy is absolutely amazing. When I asked him what makes a great coach, he told me he's still learning. What a humble man.
I'm still learning, Dave, to be honest. Yes, we have a lot of success, but yeah, to be honest, bro, I'm still searching and looking how to be a good coach.
Raised in Tonga, coming over to Wellington when he was about 14 with his family, and stumbling upon a gym and meeting the great Sefo Philip Lamb.
$25 joining fee and $25 a month. So I pulled out my $50 and I gave it to him.
Wow.
I walked home after that. But I never regretted it.
But it's really refreshing to meet someone, speak to someone like Lolo, who's purely in it, just for them to be the best champion that they can, and not just as a fighter, but as a person.
I didn't ask God for money. I asked him for knowledge so I could pass it on to these guys.
This episode will be great for fighters, for coaches, but just for everyone in general to be a better person. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. This episode definitely must be seen by everyone. Enjoy. This podcast is made by the amazing team at Fanaticals. They put up with me, so they're pretty epic. Before we get started, I just want to say a massive thank you to all the team at Pacific Business Trust. They're supporting over 2,500 Pacific businesses, entrepreneurs, and leaders just like me. So they have all the support that you need there. So for us, it was marketing, setting up a website, emails, all these different things that you don't know until you need to know. And they can be really challenging times. It can seem like you're at the bottom of this mountain and you just don't know where to start. And what they can do is help you to get started, and they walk alongside you the whole way up. So if you're a budding entrepreneur or you want to start a business, or you might already have a business and just need some help, go over, check them out, look up Pacific Business Trust and register. Sign up for help. Never be embarrassed to ask for help. You will not regret it. Trust me, I don't. But for now, enjoy the episode. Lolo, thank you so much for joining me, bro. Man, I'll be looking forward to this one. How's it going?
Oh, thank you, Dave. I feel privileged because I've seen some of the celebrities that you interview, so I'm glad so happy that you thought of me. Thank you very much.
Oh, man, you're one of the guys that's had, I think, the biggest impact on so many fighters, including my coach, John Conway, who I was talking about on the way here, and he said that you've had the biggest impact on him, not just with his fighting and his coaching, but also with morals and the way he treats other people. So it's a real blessing, man.
Yeah, very nice of John to say that. Yes, the honor was mine. I was so privileged to able to work with John and his brother Joe for many years, and as well as our young guys at the gym. Yes.
When I just wanted to ask before we start, people that were in the fight game, I always ask this question. When I came out as the brown butterbean and you first saw me, did you like me or not like me?
At the time, I was focused more on other guys, but before you came out, Dave, I know your family in many years, so I liked you because it's your connections. I've trained your Uncle Ray, your Uncle Ula, Ian. I have so much time for him. Way before you came out.
Yeah. What was it like coaching Uncle Lay? Uncle Lay was sort of on the other spectrum of Uncle Ula back in those days.
we all tried. Wayne tried. Your Uncle Ian tried. But Lay chose his own time and God's time to, to go a different path, if you like, without judging him. I know these guys.
Yeah.
But it was... whenever I don't see Lay at training, I know there's some kind of trouble. And some of the young guys today, it's no different. But,
I think you were saying one of the biggest fight nights you had back in those days with who was Uncle Lay versus another guy that you had?
Oh, he was fighting, Lay was fighting a guy, I forgot his name. Yeah, he was with the Headhunters, and it was a full house They won the main fight, but their supporter was more than the main fight. I think it was John Conway must be the main fight. But yes, it was. The only thing I asked these guys, please don't wear your badge because we're trying to make an impression on TV3 to show more fights on TV.
Yeah.
And it was good. They were good. It was, those fights were, it was a hell of a fight. I think it was, it ended up as a draw.
Yeah.
Which was good, we didn't want any riot or just get in trouble, but it was a fair draw.
Yeah.
If I was the judge myself, I wouldn't separate who won the fight.
Yeah.
Both boys would, they went at each other from round one to the end. So.
Yeah. But Lolo, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Tonga. Came to New Zealand when I was 14. Both sides of my family would come from boxing. My granddad, my mom's side he had a big stable in Tonga. And my dad went to school here in Wellington, Silver Stream, St. Pat's.
Yeah.
At the time, Catholic school were running boxing as part of the school's sports option.
Yeah.
And my dad was a heavyweight boxing champion at
Wow.
school here. So, he tried to teach me to box when I was 7, 8 years old. It must be very hard for him. I grew up in fights, Loved to fight games, Bruce Lee movies was influenced me a lot, as it happened to a lot of many young guys, back then. So, the Kung Fu and martial art appealed to me more than boxing, yeah.
Yeah. What was your favorite? I remember me when we were young watching Bruce Lee movies and all these kung fu movies. What was your favorite one coming up?
Fist of Fury, man.
Yeah.
You can't beat Fist of Fury, one kung fu guy beat up with about 30 karate guys,
When did you sort of realize that you wanted to get into fighting yourself?
I did it. I wanted to be a musician, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah. I play rugby more. Then I broke my collarbone playing rugby, and I was just walking around in town, and I saw the Lee Gar Gym at Albert Street. They used to train in Albert Street. And I walked in to check it out. My collarbone was, I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks out,
Yeah.
So it was good, but it wasn't good enough to tackle.
Yeah.
So I woke up and I saw the sign, went had a look and saw this small Chinese guy, just like in a movie, like walking around with his arm behind his back while everybody was punching and kicking.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, yeah, that's just like the movie. So I always wanted to do it, but I never had a chance.
Yeah.
I remember playing a gig, so playing part-time in a band. And I got $50, and that was supposed to be my bus fare home, or used it. I looked at it, and I asked this guy, he introduced himself as Philip Lam, he's Sefo Philip Lam.
Yep.
How much how much cost to train? And he said, $25 joining fee and $25 a month. So I pulled out my $50 and I gave it to him.
Wow.
I walked home after that. But I never regretted it.
Yeah. Man, and how old were you then?
18?
Yep.
That year. 1978. So I was the first one in the gym and the last one. And I really made an impression of him.
Yeah.
And I remember the following month, he never take any more $25 off me.
Wow.
Because I was the first one there, last one, and I would stay behind and clean up the gym.
Yeah.
So he took a liking towards me and invited me over for dinner or yum cha, and we're still friends today. So.
Yeah. He was one of the the pioneer of combat sports here.
Yes. He would run a big tournament once or twice a year and invite everybody from different styles, even boxing, jiu-jitsu, karate, kickboxing.
So like blood sport, like that Kumai Thai or something.
Pretty much. And we would fight at YMCA, and it was like a tournament fights. You fight, 3-4 times to get to the final, and then you get the big prize.
Yeah.
But he was the only active promoters at the time. I'm talking about late 70s and early 80s.
Yeah.
So he would run shows there, and everybody looked forward to it, and people come from down the line, Wellington, just to enter this tournament.
Yeah.
And me and Wayne, and my cousin Alex Tui, we were all fighting this tournament.
Yeah.
And Sefo Philip Len, that's how he started. He was so passionate about the sport. He believed on us probably more than we believe in ourselves.
Yeah.
But he had so much belief in on us that we can beat everybody, and in most cases we did. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys were some of the first to actually beat the Thais, right, in Thai boxing?
Yes, I mean he later on he brought in the Thais, but he had a lot of strong connection in Hong Kong, and later the Chinese promoters. But yeah, he would take us to Australia to fight, Hawaii, Hong Kong. He was, he trained us hard and just go there and just find out for ourselves.
Yeah.
Because the only connection that we have with overseas fighter was the karate magazine and kung fu magazine, and we read all this about these guys, Sifu actually put us there to go and fight them. Yeah. But that's how we started, and he made strong contact with promoters in Hong Kong and China, that some of our younger fighters coming up, Shane Chapman, and then from there to Israel Adesanya and Bradley Dell, and all those young guys end up have regular fights at China and Hong Kong for further development. And I think it's we were lucky that we had Sefo Philip Lam to have that kind of vision and believe in standard that we have here in New Zealand.
What did you learn? What was the biggest thing you learned from him?
The biggest thing I learned from him is, like I said, I started to learn to believe in myself.
Yeah.
Yes, he make us have strong work ethics, but then every other coach, they do the same thing,
Yeah.
So I think after I only trained weeks, he put me in my first tournament, and I had no idea, because this is normal, this is how long it takes to train for a fight, which is about 2 or 3 weeks, and then then I became a coach, and now you need to train at least 6 months. But at the time, we thought it was normal.
Yeah.
And we did good. We did really, really good. So, he taught me to believe in myself more than anything,
What was the type of I guess I get a bit of it because I've trained with John Rebel Lee Gar.
Yeah.
What was the training like back then with Sefo?
Some of the stuff that he put us through, we still do that today.
Yeah.
Like the running and working on your peripheral visions and things like that. But he just expects us to give it everything we got. He would drive to the gym and then get us to run, from our house, which is around Mount Eden or Mount Albert, all the way down to the city. And we were doing that. And we got there, we trained right at the end. Then he would take us for dinner, or I did similar thing, but I couldn't afford to take the guys to the restaurant, so I invite John and them to come home and we cook at home.
Yeah.
But it's a similar thing, you work the boys hard, but you have to show your human side of it, that
Yeah.
and then try and treat everybody like family, and And I think that's one of the things that John Conway was talking about,
Yeah.
I learned it off Sefo Philip Lam.
Yeah. What was the as a fighter? What was your biggest highlight as a fighter, or your biggest achievement?
At a time, I know I told you I come from a boxing family.
Yeah.
I kick pretty hard.
Yeah.
I work a lot on my kicking, and I think a lot of people that I was fighting back in the days respect my kicking abilities more than my hands. Did a lot of all the stuff that the Taekwondo guys, 360 spinning heel kicks.
Really?
Yeah, I used to do that,
Yeah.
Can't do that now, but but because of my friend Dan Maloney, who helped me a lot back in the days with that, and I, because I, when you watch Bruce Lee movies, see all this, kicking and spinning kicking, and that's appealed to me. That's why I was doing it, not because I was a natural kicker.
Yeah.
I just learned and repetitions and become good at it.
Yeah. What was the biggest fight you won?
Probably the biggest fight I won. I believe I won. Was a fight a guy called Rick Spain in Melbourne. But they made it a draw, and it was almost like a big brawl after, because Sefo Lam and his coach William Chung, they hop on a ring and almost fight each other over the decision.
Is there any video footage of this?
I would love to have it. So there was that. Apart from that, fighting Pad Thai.
Yep.
Here in New Zealand was a big win for me, because I've never trained so hard in my life, because I was meant to fight a guy called Sapapit, and he was a smaller Thai guy, so I trained so hard to come down. I actually came down from about 86 kilograms to about 69 kg.
Jeez.
And Sefo Philip Lam told me off. Now you're too light, because they've changed opponent to fight Pad Thai. And I remember Tojo Dixon went to Thailand, and he was, and he said they changed opponent, but this guy he's a lot bigger. And I thought, I'll fight him. But Tojo also knew that the Pad Thai beat this guy Som Song. Som Song was my hero.
Wow.
And then and I said, I'll fight him. And said, this guy beat Som Song? I said, no. Did he beat him? Pad Thai beat Som Song.
Yeah.
And Som Song was one of my heroes. So what I did was, this was around December. So I knew that I was hanging around in Auckland. I would go out with my mates and get drunk and get into booze. And by the time I fight Pad Thai, who beat Som Song in, early February, I'll get my butts kicked.
Yeah.
So I had a friend at the time, they owned some Maori lands in, up north. So I asked him we can go camping there. So we went camping there, one of the Tokis, And we stayed at a place called Ngongaru, where we had to catch a dinghy from the other side to the other side. So we away from civilization.
Yeah. Away from nightclubs.
Yeah, we stayed there, but it had a beautiful white sand. So we took tents and everything there. We took heaps of canned food, but they had so much bloody flounders at night that, like you can just put the torch, you can see them on the sand. So we were eating fresh flounders.
Yeah.
And I was pretty good because we were running on the sand, and, he would hold a bed for me, and, so we stayed there. We didn't stay there long. We go there just before Christmas, and I figure after the second we come back, by that time, there's less parties, because, You party from Christmas to the New Year.
Yeah.
So we come back after New Year.
Yeah.
And just for that short time, I lost nearly 10 kilos.
Wow.
Because we were eating healthy food and running in the beach, every day. And I've never trained so hard. And and I ended up managed to beat Partai.
Yeah.
They actually dubbed that fight as a world title fight, but I never really, thought of myself as a world champion because Partai was a hell of a fighter.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a WKA or sanctioned body or things like that. So I never really tell people. But you see it on the big trophies, and they announce it on the night. It wasn't until that I feel like a half a champion when Partai went to Australia and stopped guys like Paul Briggs, who was both a world WKA champion and a world boxing champion, and all the top fighters in Australia. They hang on,
Yeah.
I was, beating Partai was a big thing.
Yeah.
The only reason why I feel so good beating him because he beat one of my heroes. And but after that, Partai and I, we become best friends, and we still are like brothers today. It's a beautiful story because he came from Thailand to knock me out, and we became like brothers.
Far out. Oh, yeah, it's like me and Manu Vatave.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knocked me out.
Yeah.
And now we're good friends and he works with us.
Yes, yeah. It's the same thing with Partai and I.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
When did you get into coaching?
I wanted a place to train, Dave. I wanted a place to train. And I was looking for places. It's on my story, but to cut a long story short, I found a place just down the road from my house, the Catholic Church, old school space. They used it for boxing gym back in the days, And I just want a group of friends to train together. I was working with Dojo Dixon, and Dojo said, "When are you gonna, start? Why don't you start your own gym?" Because Wayne already started his own gym in Mangere.
Yeah.
And but then your Uncle Ian promoted Wayne, so he had less time to train guys. So he sent his guys to train with me.
Yeah.
So I that's how I started. I started with about a dozen guys who Wayne already taught them how to fight, and they could fight.
Yeah.
And Wayne trusted me more than send him to anyone else to train. So I was training this guy. I was still fighting myself. This was 1987.
Yeah.
But after I fought Marty Takarangi for the light heavyweight title in 1986, and after I won the title, Dojo said, "Why don't you start your own gym now?" I never thought of it, So we were looking for a place to start a gym for nearly a whole year before we found the place. But I was still fighting until 1990. Then I married my wife, Lenata, and that's when I decided to stop fighting and just concentrate on training young guys. Wayne had these guys like Dyson Carissa, Filemu Asan, and I had some young guys who joined under me as well. So when I was fighting Narusak in 1990 from Thailand, I was helping a lot of young guys, including Eddie Tongalahi. He was training at City Liga, but he spent more time training with me because he was living with me. And I remember I taped their hands up and warmed them up. And, I had 3 guys fighting on the undercard to train with me. And Eddie knocked his opponent out in the first round, and a couple of other early knockouts. And next minute they called me to, "Hey, you got to fight now," because TV3 was covering it.
Yeah.
And I remember.
So you were there coaching, but they knocked them out.
Yes,
they had more time
and they
on
knocked
air.
out these guys, and then the next minute I hop in there with hardly any. I just put quick hand reps on, and no warm up, and I hop in there and I fight this guy, and lucky I got the win at the end, and I said, oh man, that's that's it. That's too selfish of me to try and
Yeah.
this guy need proper time,
Yeah.
and I need to put more time and some kind of structure into our young fighters, and so I that's why I stopped fighting. I stopped fighting and put more time and helping these young guys and yes, and never look back.
That was the
I knew nothing about coaching.
wow.
I just pushed them hard. I thought that if I push myself hard, I know John Conway does the same thing, but he's not getting young anymore.
Yeah.
When we used to go for a run, I used to be the one in the front.
Yeah.
And I used to train harder than everyone else because I thought if I train hard, I will inspire them because I need them to look at me as the fittest, the best. And then I realized that's a lot of bullshit. It's all they want is to make sure that you care about them and put time into them.
Yeah.
And they don't care how much you know as long as they know that care about them.
Yeah.
So so that's always now. From that point, I put more time into them. I'm sure some of these young guys say, "Look at that big fat guy." But he never done that before. Yeah. But we used to train very hard just to try and inspire the young guys. And I know John was when he was fighting and training guys.
Yeah, yeah. He still leads the way in the stairs. What do you think makes a good coach?
I fail many times on different, but a lot of people are different, and I'm still trying to learn how to become a good coach, and because people have different reaction, have different appreciation of what you do. Sometimes, most guys, they appreciate what you do to them, so it's inspired them to do good. There are a small amount of people that the more you do, they just take it and then they think it's normal.
Yeah.
But most people don't care how much you know, as long as you try and go out of your way to help them and put time into them.
Yeah.
And I see John does that. He put a lot of time to you guys.
Yeah.
I try to double myself because a couple of years ago I was going to stop. Not to retire, but I want to focus on my kids' class and the young guys. Not so much traveling.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to double myself by focus on training coaches and my sons and people that helping out.
Yeah.
And get them to we share the responsibility. Yeah. Because I found myself with about 60 fighters.
Wow. Yeah.
And there's still a lot of them. They're still coming.
Yeah.
So that's too much for me.
Yeah.
But I try my best to
Yeah.
To cope, and I'm still Dave. Honestly, I'm still looking. I don't know how to be the best way to become a good coach because people have different.
Yeah.
But I try to treat everybody the same. And you thought, oh, that's the best way. A lot of people, they want all your time to them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So there's no perfect solution or perfect way to become a good coach when you train with that many different people with different mentality, and But we just try and do our best and try to do our best to listen to the fighters. And the guys that easy to work with, the one that open up.
Yeah.
A lot of them they don't say much, so you don't know what they're thinking.
Yeah.
I guess they wait for you to, wait to get the full trust before they open up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to be honest, Bo, I'm still searching and looking how to be a good coach. Now working with the kids
Yeah.
is a different level of mentality.
Yeah.
I used to think, what if you train that many champions? I've trained a lot of champions. I don't even recall how many champions that we helped. But becoming a coach for the kids is different ball game.
Yeah.
Everything changed. You have to unlearn what you thought you knew, because your level of patience had to be at least 10 times more, and even your voice. You don't want to scare them. I grew up in the fight games.
Yeah.
The old discipline, old school. Sometimes it's too much for the kids, and then you end up take their confidence away.
Yeah.
So you got to find that balance. I'm still learning, Dave, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yes, we have a lot of success, but I know that's not gonna. It's not a sort of friendly manual for everyone.
Yeah.
You probably know what I'm talking about, because you do the similar thing.
Yeah, it's interesting with the kids, because I coach my sons under 9s, but I've been coaching, I think, since under 6. I was a bad sideline parent. I was very competitive, and if my son didn't play good, and he was 5.
Yeah.
I get really upset, overly competitive. But then when I became the coach, and then I had to also ref, it changed my perspective on the way that I'm dealing with my son and the kids as well.
And other parents.
Sometimes
the passionate one.
sometimes I stopped the game. When I was a ref one year, I stopped the game. So the parents were looking at our kids like they were the filth of the earth. And I stopped and said, guys, they're 6. Can we relax? Just have some fun. And then the parents started getting angry at me. And
mate.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. I had 2 kids. One belonged to a son of a motorcycle club, and the other kid father belonged to a motorcycle, different,
Yeah.
And a friendly sparring started friendly, and then the other father was yelling his son what to do, and the other was telling, and I'm the coach. I end up kicking both parents' fathers out.
Wow.
And now I've got a sign at the gym: parents, please don't coach.
We should make a sign on the sidelines. Where did you meet your wife?
I met my wife in Tonga. We were just friends, and then wasn't until I came to New Zealand she came and stayed here with family, and then we see each other more, and then about a year and a half later we got married. And
wow.
But we didn't have children for the first 13 years of marriage. But with grace of God, we have 2 young good boys. Not perfect boys, but they're good boys. And yes, grace of God. But before that, I already had 150 of them at the gym.
Yeah.
And start with Ray Sefo and his brother, Matangi and the Conways, and I had a lot of adopted kids before that.
Yeah. I was talking to John, and he said, the sacrifice, of, because as you said, you had Ray Sefo, the Conway, but all these, and you're giving all the attention there. And he said it must have been a huge sacrifice to make for the time with your family. I know that's with me in service. We're in service. It's always the hard thing for me. Well, it's not hard, but it's hard on the family.
Yeah.
To make that. People don't really understand that, eh?
Yes. I mean, I don't know whether it's a good thing or bad thing, but it wasn't so bad for me at the time when we didn't have any kids.
Yeah.
Once because as soon as my kids were born, things changed.
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself, maybe God planned it this way.
Yeah.
Because if I had kids early when we first got married, then I either divide my time between the fighters and my family, and I would probably put more time into my family and my children.
Yeah.
Because straight after my kids were born, I start ease off.
Yeah.
I start turning down opportunities to go and work overseas and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm convinced now that maybe God planned it from day one.
Yeah.
Because He knew if I have kids at a time, I won't be spending more time with Ray Sefo and John Conway and Jason Sadi and everyone else.
Can you talk to us about that time? With you've got this. John's told me some stories, and who are the names you had then with John Conway, Ray Sefo?
Oh, I mean, we had so many. There was one time there we had the best
Jason Sadi,
6 heavyweights in Australasia.
Wow.
We had Ray Sefo, we had his brother, we had Amatangi Clay and his brother Auckland, and a guy called Tristan Mapigodor, and there's a guy called Shane, with John, and we had a lot of heavyweights at the time, and then Doug Viney come up, and we had so many heavyweights.
Was Sadi in that crew as well?
That was just a heavyweight. That's just a heavyweight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's just heavyweights.
Yeah, that's just a heavyweight.
Wow.
And there were, Ray was the only one that was, Then we talk about light heavyweight and middleweight. We had Jason Sadi, Diesel, Ethan Shep, young guys coming up like Scott Gray and all those, Jason Vermore. So what I used to do was it was a defined moment for me as a coach, because even though I was inexperienced as a coach, I was thinking like a fighter. So I think that's what one of the advantage I had as a coach, because I was still coaching while I was fighting. So I pick up the coaching role, but I also understand the ego of fighters.
Yeah.
And for some reason, we managed to keep all those guys, even though I know that it's so easy that they can have a hard sparring and try and hit each other because I could be fighting him,
Yeah.
We didn't have any of that.
Yeah.
And I look back now, is how the hell did we got away with it? My biggest worry was the brothers, Ray and Ron.
Yeah.
When you see them spar, it was like Ron was a talented heavyweight. He was strong, probably stronger than Ray.
Yeah.
Ray just had the skill and finesse and and slickness about him.
Yeah.
But Ron was built like Hercules, like he was strong and he was tough. So he was leaving the shadow of Ray.
Yeah.
So when Ray hit him, he said, "I'm not going to take any of that." And Clay Amatangi and his brother Auckland, both heavyweights, same. John Conway and Joe. At the end, I stopped brothers from sparring each other. That was the only issue I had when brothers sparring each other. The other middleweights, we had to get the guys to lose weight and come on a weight division down, while the other one go up.
Yeah.
Because we had about middleweight and light heavyweight. They're not that much different.
Yeah.
In weight, they can, So we used to get guys to fight. Okay, Jason, you fight for the WKA. Okay, Diesel, you fight for ISKA, and Jason Vermore, you fight for, I used to get these guys to fight in different sanction bodies, or one weight up or one weight down, so that they don't. So everybody get a title without having to fight each other. Because I said, look, the reason why you guys are so good, because iron sharp irons. Like you're sparring each other. When you hop on the ring, think about this. None of your opponent get the sparring partners you guys have. Which is CKP adopted that system that we had back in the days. So we had the best heavyweight, we had the best cruiserweight, light heavyweight, and middleweight and light middleweight, and John and his brothers, and they were ruling the the lightweight and welterweight, and and that's how we. And I look back now to how the hell we got away with this,
Yeah. And those
go
are
wrong.
all big names,
Yes,
eh?
Yes. Later on, they all become big names.
Yeah.
They all become world champion or international champions, and
Yeah.
and we were lucky as well that Sifu Philip Lam had a lot of connection at Hong Kong. We would go to Hong Kong and fight. One time we took about a dozen fighters, professional fighter, and was running on a 2 days event.
Was that the road trip from hell you talk about?
No, there was one of the many trips. This is a different one.
Yeah.
We had a lot of crazy stories.
Well, let's talk about the road trip from hell.
Yeah, like I said, we were going to fight in this area called Guangsai. At the time, if you go to China, it was new. It was new because back in the days, no foreigners go to China. And back in the days, Kowloon Airport had the shortest runway.
Yeah.
So if it's hail, it's a 12 hours delay. Otherwise, the plane will end up in the water.
Yeah.
So we got there, and this guy showed up in a minibus, but he also had a lady. She was a high-rank officer in a Red Army. So what the hell is she doing here? We didn't know. Because it's too. If we're gonna book, once we miss it, we miss it. The next train ticket will be about a month later.
Far out.
So we had to go by minibus from Hong Kong to Guangzhou. I'm not sure, but I think it's not that far from here to Wellington or Rotorua or something like. But they didn't have a motorway. China was still rebuilding phase at the time.
Yeah.
So this guy was driving. He was driving like a maniac, And because we need to meet the deadline, we had to get there, and then we get another bus from there to an area called Shengshan, and then we fly from there to Guangxi or Guangxi. So this guy was, he was running on a footpath, driving a footpath, almost run a baby and
who's all on the bus? Who's all the fighters in the bus?
Myself, Ray Sefo, John Conway, Cliff Sawney.
Cliff was there.
The guy called Alan Drew from training with Partai, and was about was and the Mrs. Brothers, and Gyosot and Philip Lam and myself. Was about a dozen of about 10 of us.
Yeah.
And this guy was driving he was a lunatic, and but he had to meet the deadline.
Yeah.
And this guy, we went from one village to another, and then they were waiting in there, and there was an army officer who touched his gun, and he'd go like this. Oh no, here we go. So we stopped there, and then the officer that came with us hop off the bus and explain it. Now we realize why. We know why she came with us. But this guy was a maniac. He was just missing a construction truck, and another one come the other way, so he changed again, and we all screamed, and somebody said, I'm going to kill this guy. And someone said, no, I'm going to kill him first. Ray said, no, I'm going to knock him out first. And but so funny because we survived. And about 5 hours later, it's become normal. We just, that was a close one. We all relax. Either we relax or we accepted death, But we got there. And I remember when you walk on the street, like with Sifu Lam and myself and Alan Drew, he was a Pacquiao.
Yeah.
And the Chinese probably, I can understand. That's the Chinese. What's the other guys, because probably never seen Islanders before, me and Ray. And they just stopped what they're doing and giggling each other and pointed at us, But it's a fun trip. We arrived at Guangxi, and with one of the foreign sport team that go to China, deep into China.
Yeah.
And I remember they had a red carpet for us.
Oh, right.
and the mayor of the city, one of the smaller province, but they still have something like 50 million people, you know. They had the red carpet for us. We walked on the red carpet and had a big banquet, and everybody say a speech, and Sifu Lam said, "Oh, we need to do something New Zealand. Can you guys do the haka?" and we look at I look at Ray as hoping he knows how to do haka. He doesn't know how to do haka. We're even too scared to say something or yell out in case we get arrested.
Yeah. Far out.
But you're back in the days, you know. This is, I think it was 1993, bro.
Man. What was Ray Sefo like back then?
Oh, he a lot of stuff there that him and John always have a good sparring.
Yeah.
Even though they were about 20 kilos different.
Yeah.
The only time I've ever seen Ray get dropped was from John.
Really?
He kneed him in the balls.
What happened when Ray recovered?
Ray's pretty good like that,
Yeah.
you know. Ray's pretty good like that. But but they do the odd things, you know. Like Saturday's our main sparring day. And Ray showed up with this guy and introduced me to him. He didn't say who he was. And I thought, what, his mate or cousin? Because the guy was an islander. I can't tell which is Tongan or Samoan.
Yeah.
And when they spar, Ray will smash him up. And then just before the guy was covering up, he moved back. And then, so after sparring, I said, I didn't want to say anything because sometimes you tell one guy off and the other guy feel that you've been babying them and they don't like it, So I'll wait till after sparring and the guy left and I said to Ray, aren't you a bit hard on your mate? Actually, he went out that night, he was working down and this guy wanted to fight him. And Ray said, no, I don't fight in Australia. I've got contract, I've got, fight overseas. If I fight you here, I'm going to be in trouble and I lose my contract. But if you want to fight me, come down to my gym.
Wow.
And an idiot showed up.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. And the idiot showed up. I mean, to his credit, he showed up,
Well, at least he showed up.
Yeah, and he showed up, and Ray was smashing just before he knocked him out. He pulled back. He don't want to finish him off, because if he did, I'll probably going to go berserk and told him off,
Yeah.
So I said, but I noticed that he was going harder than normal. I said, aren't you a little bit harder on your mate? I said, it's not my mate. He wanted to fight me last night at the club. So I told him, you always tell us not to fight on the street, fight at the gym. I said, okay.
That's fun.
And that guy showed up. I don't know.
I had one time when, because a lot of people didn't like me and my boxing stuff. And one guy turned up. I organized a walk with our BBM team. And I just lost my fight. And this guy turned up and was being a bit of a smart ass. And he was a left-hander.
Yeah.
And I was fighting, the guy who just beat me was a left-hander. So I said, I need some sparring with a left-hander. Why don't you come here? And he turned up and I belted him. And I gave him a good hiding. And my coach said, Dave, that's enough. I said, no, a little bit more.
Yeah.
It feels good.
Yeah, and that's what happened. That's exactly what happened.
I want to talk about the last story you sent me was the Mexico trip with Mark Hunt.
Oh, yeah.
Can you talk us through that? You mentioned some names and it just brought back some memories, with the Dr. Payne, Alex Flint.
Oh, yeah, we call our condition coach Dr. Payne.
Steve Oliver.
He's Australian, but we forgive him because he thinks himself is a Maori anyway.
Yeah.
And Steve Oliver. And I remember when I was about to, I booked my knee for
So what year was this so we can
2014.
2014.
Yeah.
Someone pulled out of the fight with, was it Verdun?
Cain Velasquez supposed to fight Verdun.
Yep.
For the interim title. I think Verdun, Cain has the title. But he got injured, and then in 3 weeks out from the fight, he got injured, and of course, Cain he's Mexican,
Yeah.
So that's why the UFC thing was at Mexico City.
Yeah.
But he couldn't fight. And at the time, none of the other heavyweight took the fight in that notice. Mark put his hand up, I'll take it, One problem, he had to lose 21 kilos.
In 3 weeks?
In 3 weeks. In 3 weeks.
And you were saying you just had a knee operation?
Yeah, I was meant to have a knee operation. So lucky for me that my orthopedic doctor, Chris Fugia, one of the best doctor, if not the best orthopedic in the country, we asked him if we can delay it, and he said, yeah, we put you down on 26th of November. So this was September, So I went in there. The boys went first. I had to have the American visa and a Mexican visa because I still carried my Tongan passport. And I got there 11 days out from the fight. But
how was that camp to lose 21 kilos in 3 weeks?
Mate, I don't know how. Probably I'm more proud of Mark on that camp than any other camp,
Yeah.
I mean, number one, he has to fight with Doom, who was a very, very accomplished fighter at the time, and the guy was, he can strike, he can take you down, he can, he's a high-level jiu-jitsu black belt, and, Anyway, 3 weeks, he's got to lose 21 kilos.
Yeah.
He's got to get his fitness up. But the biggest killer for me is the altitude, over 3,000 meters above sea level.
So what does that do to you when you're above that?
Because the air is so thin, it's you can get tired very easily, even just walking.
Yeah.
But Mark had to lose 21 days while trying and get a game plan and drills and lose the weight. I tried to get young Carlos there.
Yeah.
I said to Zen, who organized stuff, can we take Carlos? Because I have a feeling that Verdum was gonna fake takedown, and then at some stage he's gonna level change with a high knee, and I need athletic guys that assimilate what I wanted to do. And because Carlo was only young, 21, 22 years old at the time or something like that, And I said, I'm sorry, the UFC already sliced the budget. Mark already agreed on a set number, and so Carlos couldn't go, but I really want Carlos to come with us. And but after that fight, Mark hired Carlos Airy camp after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was so proud that Mark made the weight. He made the weight in a hard way, and not just make the weight. Had to deal with the altitude, and
Yeah, you're saying that Dr. Payne or Alex Flint was making him do bear crawls everywhere. What type of training?
What he did something very smart, because Mark doesn't like training. He doesn't like training, and because we sit one time and talking, and Mark said to me, "How do you know you pick for fight?" Just Mark was just being honest, and I must have worded it wrongly. Based on my own experience, when you train hard, yourself. When you train hard for camp, you get to a point you don't want to train; you just want to fight.
Yeah.
I said, I know when I'm picked when I don't feel like training. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know what I mean is you just want to fight. I didn't finish my sentence, And Mark looked at me like, but I don't feel like training at any time. He looked at me in the face, and I was waiting for him to giggle or laugh, waiting for the punchline. There was no punchline. He was totally honest.
Yeah.
But that's what makes me respect the guy even more.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Training camp, and all the time he hates training.
Yeah.
But he's still disciplined enough to train.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you don't feel good, so you don't like training, but there are times you feel good. Mark said consistently he doesn't like training.
Yeah.
You know.
You know, Mark is where I got so our saying in BBM is no excuses. And Mark is where I got that from.
Yeah.
Because I was lucky that Alex Flint let me train there for free at his gym. And this is when they were still training outside and in netball courts, you know. And he let me train there. DJ Reminisce took me.
Yes.
And it was he was training Mark Hunt. I was so lucky.
Yeah.
And I remember not turning up to training one time. And then the next time I saw Mark in the cafe after training, he said, "Where were you?" And I started telling him my excuse. And he goes, "No excuses."
Yeah.
And, you know, you don't want to piss Mark off, you know. I said, but it made me think, you know what, you're right, there's no excuse. And I adopted that mindset for straight after.
If Mark has his way, he'll go and fight without training.
Yeah.
But Mark, one thing that I noticed that Mark is like he brings a lot of these guys to the camp because he doesn't want to let them down, you know, and that's the mentality. And I think Alex, you know, I call him Dr. Pain because he likes to see people in pain, you know.
Yeah, I've been through a lot of his painful sessions.
Yes. So I gave him the name. And but what Dr. Pain did correctly was he connected with a lot of guys here in New Zealand, Australia, around the world who Mark Hunt's fan. And he said and he told them to do pair crawling everywhere.
Yeah.
And so when Mark don't feel like training on his body language, Alex showed him, oh yeah, this is the guys from Wellington and Spain. They're doing the bear crawl with you.
Yeah.
So Mark get on his floor and start, you know, crawling. So Dr. Payne uses that to inspire Mark.
Yeah.
And when Mark about to give up, he showed him the video of the guys back home or his fans in China or some crazy place doing the bear crawling. So Big Mark doesn't want to let them down, so he did it. And that's how I doubt Mark would have made the weight or train like that if Dr. Payne didn't have that strategy, you know.
Yeah.
So that really helped Mark.
And over there in Mexico, you had Steve Oliver, and you were talking about what was Steve Oliver signing his autographs under?
When we got there, we waited outside. I think it was the government house. They had the press conference inside or introduced the fighters for the first time. UFC is new in Mexico. They only have boxing there, you know. So when the fan came out, they don't know what Mark looked like, you know. And Steve Oliver, you know, like he's
a big guy, muscular guy.
Big muscular guy. From January to December, he looked mince, you know.
Yeah.
So they came outside and they look at Mark and they look at Steve. They took photo with Steve.
They thought Steve was the fighter.
They thought Steve was the fighter. So Mark was standing on the side there. Mark didn't mind because he doesn't like media and all the other dramas and all the media circus. Mark wants to stay away from it anyway.
Yeah.
So Steve was there taking photo with the kids and the cops and the military guys, and you know, and he put his name down as Shane Cameron. So before Shane even been to Mexico, he already had a few fans there, you know.
That's so funny.
So Steve was signing his name as Shane Cameron. It was so funny. While Mark was standing on the side, he was just giggling. Mark was enjoying it because he doesn't like all that circus anyway. So, yeah.
And what happened with the kidnapping over there, or the attempted kidnapping?
Dana White's been ringing to warn Mark that he got tipped off that that kidnappers, the kidnappers are looking for UFC fighters, you know, to kidnap and ransom for money, you know. Yeah. So, but every time he wants to talk Mark doesn't want to talk to Dana, you know. So he always makes an excuse not to. But Dana was trying to warn us that, hey, careful when you walk around, you know, because, you know, this is a dangerous place. I mean, we were told that Mexico City they had about 30,000 a year murders. Not car accident or sick murders, you know. And I guess it all the cartels hit, you know, doesn't count because when they don't find the body. But they have one kidnapping a week from January to December.
Yeah.
And Dana White was trying to warn us to, you know. And even my friend, Javier Mendes, he's the owner of AKA, training Habib and all those guys.
Yeah.
He came and saw us walking around the night and said, "Are you guys effing crazy? I'm Mexican and I'm too scared to walk around in the daytime by myself."
Because all the other fighters you were saying all had like their big entourage security. And
we walk past these guys, like even the first time UFC fighter, they would have about 3 or 4 armed security walk with them, and here's this coconut walking around anywhere at nighttime by herself,
Yeah.
And Mark liked this Mexican cafe down the road, which is about 15, 20 minutes walk there. We walk there,
Yeah.
at nighttime, and after that we walk back home. But we were, these 2 young guys used to come and pick us up to go to this gym, and they only look like in their late 20s or early 30s, and you can tell that they said they owned the place.
Yeah.
The place was, you make Les Mills look like a little garage, man.
Really?
They have running place there. They have a running, and every floor was about 600 meters. One floor for MMA, one for boxing, one for circus, one for Pilates or whatever. Yeah. It was a huge place, and they even have an MMA floor. We went there, They have a cage and everything in there, So we only do drill 30 to 40 minutes, because we've done the training.
Yeah.
Just get ready for fight, But everyone, they want to take a photo of Mark, and we stayed there for another hour, hour and a half. And Mark is good like that,
Yeah.
Take a photo with all these dodgy-looking guys, and they have, take a one-on-one photo and pointing at each other like they're old mates and stuff. And I'm just wondering, maybe there was a word getting around. Oh, this guy, leave these guys alone because, they're good guys,
Yeah.
While Americans and everybody had to have armed bodyguards around, we just walk around by ourselves. And I think that maybe it was something like that because, even our tour guide who won us is a Maori guy, is Tama McDonald, and he's married a Mexican lady. She's very, very nice family. They warned us, "Hey, guys, careful when you walk around. Don't go to the ATM machine by yourself. You're gonna, They got robbed on the last week we left.
Far out.
So Javier wasn't exaggerating, but everybody seemed to be, showing the interest on us. We just, or maybe they think that, these guys are too weird to kidnap anyway.
And how did it feel by when, you sort of had an idea of what Verdun was going to do? You couldn't take Carlos, and then that's what ended up happening with the knee to Mark.
It was tough because we couldn't really do much, and I'm not making excuses.
Yeah.
Do much technical work and stuff because the main focus, 90% of the focus is for Mark to make the weight.
Yeah.
3 weeks, he needs to lose 7 kilos consistently every week.
How's that even possible?
We were, when we go, when we have meals, Steve and Alex told us not to, in order to help Mark get stronger mentally.
Yeah.
We can't eat,
Oh, so you guys weren't allowed to eat either?
Yeah, we're not allowed to eat carbs as well, and that hotel, man, they have all the best food in there, man. Everything, when you talk about the sweet stuff and cheesecake and stuff, they have a table there with about a dozen different cakes and yelling at me to come and pick them, but we can't because I go and get him, and Steve always go, "Oh no, not that one. That's too fattening. No, that yogurt, this how many calories, So the food police come and took all the food. But Mark, I end up lost 10 kilos myself, bro. And I'm going there to help Mark. I'm not in there for some bloody Island celebrity lost weight program. But I ended up lost 10 kg myself by following what Mark was eating and doing exercise with them. But I couldn't really do much fight strategy, realistic sparring, and that because Mark was, it was too hard for him. It was very tough for him because Dr. Payne was making him work, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and he had to. Yeah, if he didn't, Mark wouldn't make the weight.
Yeah.
You know, they say that diet is the number one, 90% of the.
Yeah.
Well, if he didn't do that, plus the cardio that Dr. Payne put him through, he wouldn't make the weight.
Yeah.
You know, so
Man,
he had
must
to
have,
do.
Mark must have been grumpy.
Oh, he was grumpy. He was very grumpy. You know. Even one time when I tried to show him something and Mark was, no, this is not going to work. Mark's not like that, you know.
Yeah.
This is not going to work. And I said, you know. So I saw it and I sort of backed off, you know.
Yeah.
Because Dr. Payne made him crawl on a high altitude. We went to the Sun Pyramid.
Yeah.
Just for sightseeing. Then Alex saw a little grass on the side. So he got Mark to do this. So Mark, you know, down he went.
Man, I wonder what the tourists thought.
Oh, yeah, everybody's standing there watching. What this guy doing in there, you know? And that's at the 3,100 meters above sea level.
Wow.
You know, so
Yeah.
I got tired and gasping for air just by walking slowly, bro.
And he came close. He was winning that fight until then, eh?
He was so close to knock out the. I still think if we took Carlos and do more realistic simulation on jumping knee and stuff, Mark would have probably able to read it better. You know, he knew that would come himself.
Yeah. What made Mark such a great fighter for so many years?
I think it's if you people that read the books, you know, that they would know more about Mark, you know, and why he became a successful fighter. I've met the family. I met Steve. I met his brother John, who sadly took his own life. But Mark was he had a different mentality. He doesn't dwell on the past. When I first went into camp, I think Mark won 2 fights out of 11 fights, MMA fights. But talking to him, he still believed he's the best.
Yeah.
You know, what happened, and he never looked back and watched past fight, especially fight that he lost. He doesn't want to go back there. I think he developed that from his upbringing, all the hardship and hostile upbringing. The only way that keep his sanity by shut it off and cut it off. So he was one of those people that can actually physically and mentally block out the negative. We say that we can, but it's hard for us to even do that.
Yeah.
You know, and in order to move forward, you have to block out all the negative thing and bad things that happened to us in the past. And even for us to try that, it's not easy. And at some point, you know, Mark can actually do that.
Yeah.
You know, and he would do you'll change his way of thinking. That if you read the book, his father used to beat him with branches and leave marks on his arms, and he would stop him going to school because otherwise the teacher would report it to the police.
Yeah.
And Mark was, you know, any kids will get dwell on it and traumatized over it. Mark, in a book, you read it, and I was actually not too bad. I'm happy at least I don't have to go to school because I don't like school. Like he switched his mind to something else to counteract that pain.
Yeah.
You know, so his string is able. If you knock Mark down on the last round and you thought, oh, you're good, I'm going to finish the next round.
Yeah.
You know, he's a new, different guy when coming the next round.
Yeah.
because he's able to block that.
Yeah.
That negative scoring. He doesn't remember things that will make him second best or make him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And of all the years I've trained a lot of professional fighters, that's unique. I've never come across guys like that.
All right. With all the great fighters that you've had over time, and it's something that's happened, with John, who I'm close to, and you see it all out in the boxing and fight game. How do you react when, you put work into a fighter and then they leave? How does that affect you? I've seen it happen to John.
Yeah, I talked with John about it.
Yeah.
It's very upsetting.
Yeah.
And a lot of time, but it's happened quite a few times. It will happen again. It's just part of the. So I reminded John. I said, John, it's happened, and it won't stop happening. It's you just have to deal with it. That accept it will happen. And like I said, I mentioned earlier, sometimes it's the fighters that you put more time and love and kind to them, and they are the one that most likely to do that.
Why do you think that is?
I have no idea. I think because it's to them they think it's normal, and but at some point they're gonna realize it. By that time they lose a good friend, because they're only going to be fighting for about 10 years in their life.
Yeah.
And after that one, you have to go back and you become a family man or you become a coach, and then you have to go through that with everyone else,
Yeah.
But a lot of my fighters that have moved on, we're still friends.
Yeah.
And I talk to you about, like, I'm lucky that God has sort of guided me and gave me a lot of knowledge, as you said about yourself. With without God, we have. I believe that. A lot of people that don't believe in God, they don't believe that. But that's fine. That's your opinion,
Yeah.
For me, it's like without God, I'd be nothing, And I didn't ask God for money.
Yeah.
I asked him for knowledge so I can pass it on to these guys.
Wow.
And if you start getting to a point where, he going there and I help him become rich, he doesn't give anything back, then that's when you become a self-pity, and that's when you become angry,
Yeah.
I'm talking about my own personal mentality and how I deal with it. I recover a lot faster than most people do,
Yeah.
But if it's happened to a new young trainer who put so much time and dedications and happen, it can be very upsetting.
Yeah.
With nowadays, I don't feel that way anymore.
Yeah.
I just said, you're missing a good friend. I'm a good person. You miss out on of a friend with a good person.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna come across and meet some not so good people.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
And there's lots of dodgy people in the fight game.
Of course,
so careful.
In a fight game, it's integrity is a very rare commodity.
Yeah.
But no, I don't get upset anymore. If anything, I'm disappointed for them.
Yeah.
Because they, you're so blunt. I will do anything for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would do anything, and I did, Some of the young guys, I whatever, try and find their sponsorship, train them for free, even give them the key to use the gym, and then some they want,
Yeah.
But it's not enough,
Yeah.
So when that happened, you know how you switch your paradigms, and now you miss out on a good person.
Yeah.
Somebody left John, they missed out. John is a genuine guy.
Yeah.
You missed out on become close with one of the most genuine people in the world that I know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you think like that, you almost feel bad for the other guys that are living,
Yeah. What advice would you give? To a young up-and-coming fighter, what advice would you give them if they're wanting to be a success at this?
I give the advice every time. It's just consistency. I've seen consistency beat talent many times.
Yeah.
Because the longer you stay, the more you're gonna learn.
Yeah.
The more you're gonna, you get better at everything in a fight game, because we talk about fitness, technical side, mental side. The longer you practice all those things that relate to the fight, I've seen super talented guys who are not very consistent.
Yeah.
Some of them, they tend to rely on their talent, but that's not enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Story at the gym where we have one guy there who became a world champion, but it took him 2 months to learn how to skip.
Wow.
But consistency make him, overcome the challenges and then end up a world champion.
Man.
So consistency.
Yeah. And last one, bro. It's a question I ask everyone who comes on. What's your why that drives you? What's something that drives you when times are tough? What do you draw on?
I have different whys from the beginning, I thought that, become a coach, my why in the early days was to train a champion.
Yeah.
I have achieved that. In fact, I don't recall how many champions that we helped become champion. I never count or never bothered to. So my why has changed, My why now is your why. So if a young guy, I want to be a champion, I'm going to help you achieve your why.
Yeah.
My why is to achieve your why.
Wow.
Because they've changed over the years,
Yeah.
Not the number of champions, not the money, not the winning, not the, it's just to make sure that whoever young guy, whoever a why, we can help them achieve their why. Anyway, I know it sounds like an Irish answer, but
Yeah.
yeah. I do have some Irish on me, by the way. So.
Brother, it's been an honor. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
For coming on.
Thanks for having you, bro.
Thank you so much for watching, team. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you got something out of this, if it's helped you or someone you know, please go down to the link below and buy us a coffee. It's hard to keep this going, but we must. So please help us to help you. Let's go.